Hello, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to our channel and welcome back to our van build and welcome back to what will hopefully be the last video of our van build. So if you've been following along, you'll know that we've been working on this van now for over a year. We've been slowly chipping away at it over the weekends in between work and all this stuff, and we are sort of finally near the finish line. So if you saw last episode, you'll know that we basically finished all of our kitchen. There's still a few pieces of it that we are staining inside before we mount it all and finish it all, like this cabinet door here. But yeah, we basically got all of it done. Oh, we're also doing some staining on this side, which is why this is all covered in plastic wrap over here. Don't worry about that. But yeah, in any case, we're pushing ahead. Today we are going to start on one of the last big chunks of this van build, which is going to be our bathroom. It's going to go right here in this space. You can see the plumbing that I've sort of already prepped here. But basically it's gonna live inside of this sort of area, hoping for a size of around 24 by 32. And yeah, we'll kind of show you guys our plan for all of this and what we're gonna do. Let's get into it. So yeah, like I said, this is where the shower is going to go, sort of in this rough area and like a rectangular shape that I'm drawing out here. And one of the things that I had to figure out right off the bat was the fact that we have this kind of support pillar for the van right here. So I wasn't able to buy any sort of pre-made shower pan. That would have been a lot easier just to fit into here and then just start building the shower walls around it, right? But unfortunately that's not the case given where we've ended up with where our fridge cabinet is in relation to where the bathroom is going to be. So I have to build a custom shower pan that will kind of mold around this edge here and fit into this space. So that's what I'm gonna try to figure out. First thing I'm going to do is mount some of our fittings. So this is like our shower handle. It's gonna go kind of here. I've already pre-marked the area of where it's gonna go. And then those two lines will fit into this, which will go up into where our actual shower head is. So yeah, this wall that we have here right now isn't actually going to be the shower wall. This is the wall for the fridge cabinet here on this side. But I'm gonna mount a bunch of those fittings that I just showed you onto this wall and then add another wall on top of this. That's gonna be a 1/2 inch, so it'll save on weight and whatnot. Because like this fitting needs, like when you actually fit it on, you can see like it obviously sticks out a whole bunch. So you need another wall here to sort of have space for this to live. So that's what I'm gonna do. But first, like I said, I'm gonna get these fittings on this wall, connect these pipes so we can get going with that. So of course, when it comes to bathrooms in a van, the community is definitely very split on whether or not you need one of these things. A lot of people say they're a huge waste of space, and they might be right. For a lot of people, they get into van life and they build one of these things and they realize after the fact that they don't use it, and it sort of just takes up a big space in their van, takes up a lot of weight that otherwise could have been used for something else, right? So, but in our experience, after living life on the road in our travel trailer, having a bathroom inside of your RV is definitely a huge plus for us. If we were just building a van for like weekend camping trips and just sort of short-term usage and things like that, it probably wouldn't be as much of a necessity. But when you're building something for full-time living that you know you're going to be living in this thing day in, day out, you know, we have 3 dogs, they're getting dirty, we need to be able to wash them off, wash ourselves off, stay clean, stay comfortable. So yeah. All right, before we seal off this wall and start building past this stuff, we're gonna make sure everything's working. So we got bucket, we got shower, here we go. Okay, so everything went fine with the leak test here in the shower. So we've pushed ahead and we've started to make our next wall. So this is just a 1/4 inch, and because we have the 3/4 inch behind it that's holding all of the actual plumbing stuff. So this is really just like a fascia. So we got this 1/4 inch and then we just kind of temporarily mounted our shower faucet and arm just to kind of get a feel for it all. And it's feeling pretty good. Like, we're thinking that the wall will go to where these garbage bins are right now. So it's gonna be 32 inches across here and then 24 inches this way. And so far it's not bad. Like, it's definitely on the verge for me in terms of height. I have like maybe a couple inches, but I mean, at least I don't have to bend down. Like, that would be awful. So yeah, now I think what we're gonna do is make some framing bits that are gonna go behind this wall, mounted to the 3/4 inch behind it, just so, you know, this thing is rigid when you push on it. So that's what I'm gonna do next. Okay, so we got our wall in, so this is all ready to go for the next stage, and what we're working on now is the actual shower pan itself. So as you can see here, we got the basic outline of it pretty much all cut and ready to go. The front here is quite a bit thicker than all the other bits just because we're accounting for like the size. We're using the Nautilus shower door, which is like this retractable, lightweight shower door that a lot of other van lifers use, but the base of it is quite big, so that's why we have to have a piece that's this large right in the front. And then all around it, we mostly use this marine grade ply that we had left over from our subfloor way back in the day, so quite a throwback to use this stuff for sure. And here in the back we got a little boxed in area because this is where like the you know, there's a pillar here in the Ford Transit, so we're just kind of working around it. Built this little box to cover it up, something like that. And yeah, so now what we're gonna do is screw all of this together and then make the actual shower pan floor, which is also gonna be made out of the same marine grade ply. So let's do it. As you can see here, I have 2 layers of floor. One is 3/4 inch ply, and this is just a 1/4 inch maple on top. Okay, so the reason for that, here's our drain. My plan is on the thicker board, the 3/4 inch, we're gonna do a hole saw that's this size, so this will sit there. And then the problem with that is that this lip on the top now is gonna sit above this piece, which means like, you know, water won't fully drain into it unless you like kind of push the water into it. So we're gonna recess it and have the 1/4 inch on top with a bigger hole that can accommodate this size. And then that way this will sit flush on the 1/4 inch and should be all good. We should be able to, you know, get water in here, no problem. So that's what we're gonna do. But the first thing we have to do before we get into that is to actually drill a hole in the floor and figure out where this is gonna drain out from. So I'm gonna just hop under there and get an idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, so done some measuring. Measured on when I was outside. I measured from this pillar over to here, and then from this wall over, made sure there's clearance underneath the van of where that's gonna go in preparation for a gray tank, which we'll get into later. But this is where our pilot hole is gonna be. So our drain is gonna be here in the corner, something like that. And here we go, scary time. Please be where I think you'll be. Okay, let's go see. Get you the camera. Is the hole where I thought? Excuse all this mess, by the way. It looks like a freaking disaster right now. Oh, yes! That's exactly where I thought it was going to be. Amazing. So yeah, that interior pillar I measured from was there to here. This is where it's gonna go. Now that we got the pilot hole in, now for the big hole where our ABS pipe will go. And this is it's a big deal right now. This is the very last hole we're ever gonna make in the van, is this one right here. So this is pretty cool. Here we go. Okay.
Welcome to Mike's DIY show.
So just to catch you guys up, we have finished putting together the shower pan. We put on the very top layer and glued it all down and got our recessed drain in place. So that's all good.
Well,
Really
we're
happy.
gonna take that out.
Yeah. This is just kind of in here to help the glue set in the right spot. So that's almost done drying. And what we're gonna go on to now is actually waterproofing this shower pan. So we were starting the bathroom build. I didn't really know how I was gonna tackle doing a shower pan because we had to work around this little pillar here, which is why we built this little box. But I found a method online that I think will work well. We're essentially just taking fiberglass and epoxy and doing a whole bunch of layers in this shower pan to waterproof it. And that's what we got going on here. So I bought some epoxy and hardener, and you kind of mix them to a 1-to-1 ratio in these cups. And then we'll lay down 2 different types of fiberglass mat. This is fiberglass stranded mat, and I think this is like a fiberglass mesh mat. So we lay the fiberglass stranded mat first, and then we pour epoxy all over it and spread it all around. It's really important to work on a level surface, which is why I got it up here on the workbench, and because this stuff kind of like self-levels once you apply it. So yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of coats of this. This is gonna be a several day ordeal because you have to wait 24 hours in between each like layer that you do. So that's what we're gonna do now, and let's get into it. Okay, so we have finished putting the first layer of fiberglass and epoxy on our shower pan. That took way longer than I thought it was going to. That was like almost 2 hours to do all of this, but now we gotta let this cure. This is up to 72 hours, so it's gonna be a while before we get back to this. So, but yeah, that worked out okay. Definitely, you gotta take your time with this stuff, especially our first time working with fiberglass or epoxy. You know, it's kind of a pain. It's really messy, but we made it work. Okay, so while we're waiting for the shower pan to dry, we're gonna go ahead and start working on our storage for inside of the bathroom. So just sort of created this shelf for now. This is where we're gonna put like toiletries and shampoos and all this stuff. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. Now we're just gonna make some furring strips to connect it with the rest of our framing. That'll be good. Okay, so we have finished putting in our little shelf cubby for all of our toiletries. So yeah, it all fit really good. We're just using these tension rods as the front of them because we didn't want to deal with having to, you know, make a lip and then having to make sure that lip is waterproof. All of it's going to be waterproof. It's just going to be a lot harder to do all that if there's like a lip in the way. But in any case, this worked out great. Just attach it to all our furring strips around here. It's got a slight lean forward, just so any sort of liquid, of course, comes out and then into the eventual shower pan down below.
We didn't purposefully do that.
The van is just like that. So yeah. So it helps in this case. And yeah, here in this cubby is gonna be our recessed toilet paper holder. And on this side, we're gonna have stuff like a soap dish and
razor holder.
Yeah. None of those have arrived yet from Amazon, but those are on the way. But this turned out pretty good. So now we're just gonna kind of finish up this area before we move on. We're still waiting for the epoxy to dry, so that needs another day at least. So we're getting there, but we got some other little details to work on inside the van anyway. So we're gonna keep trucking forward. Okay, so it's been a few days. We've let our fiberglass and epoxy cure on our shower pan. Everything turned out mostly okay. I sanded the heck out of all of it and cut off all the excess bits that were hanging off the edge. And now we're gonna move on to our second coat of fiberglass and epoxy. So the guide that I found online said to use a different kind of fiberglass for the second layer. So this is like a fiberglass mesh, and stuff that I used for the first layer was a chopped stranded mat. I don't really know the difference. All I know is that that's what they did and it worked out for them. So we're gonna go ahead and do that for this one. So it's the same deal. We just layer out a whole bunch of sheets of this and then epoxy over it again. So here we go. Okay, so kind of been forgetting to film now that we're getting to this stage in the van. We're mostly just kind of focused on getting it done.
I know, we're so over it.
And we're kind of over building this. It's been over a year and we just want to be on the road now. So, but we're trying to still film. So I gotta catch you guys up. Okay, so you saw us, we did the second coat of the epoxy and fiberglass on the shower pan there. And it turned out quite a bit better than the first time around. Yeah, it's starting to look a lot nicer. We still need to do a little bit of like touching up and kind of filling some gaps with epoxy that kind of like broke apart after it dried. But yeah, we got that done. We got the drain hole back in there. It was kind of hard to get like the recessed drain hole.
Pretty much everything we had done prior on the wood was kind of pointless.
Yeah,
so we kind of had to redo it in the epoxy.
Yeah, so like what Dana means by that is that like I probably could have left drilling any of like the drain holes at all until after the epoxy, because you need to basically drill new holes again at that point. So there's basically no point in doing that, but whatever. So now we've gotten everything back into the van. As you can see, we got this other shower wall up, cut and installed, and you can see here the drain pan fits nice and snug between these two walls. Everything's looking good. What we're going to do now is build the final interior wall that'll go around this sort of like shelf box that we've created. And yeah, once we get this wall built, we can finally kind of get everything in there and start waterproofing the walls and get to the finish line with this. So this past like month or so of trying to finish up the van, our motto has been don't not work because we just I've said this over and over again, we're over it. We want to be finished this van. We want to be on the road, and this bathroom is almost kind of like the last thing we really need before we can do that. So don't not work.
But still have fun while we do it.
It's hard to see the fun nowadays in this.
Oh dear.
We're getting somewhere. Yes, I can visualize it now. Okay, a bit of an unorthodox way of tracing out the shelf boxes that we made. We just made a couple of hole saw holes and Dana's tracing them out from the inside. Just saves having to measure every part of it.
Well, and we've measured all the other ones and they're not 100% perfect.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. With like the other style of these boxes that we've made. Here we go. Hopefully this is like the final test fit.
Wow!
Yes. Fantastic. Cool. Nice.
That's way better than any of our other ones.
I did plunge cuts with the skill saw to make this shape instead of using a jigsaw all the way. I'm bad with jigsaw. Like, it's hard to keep a straight line. So, but with a skill saw, it's a lot easier. You just got to make that first plunge correct.
And then that's where our toilet roll is gonna go.
So
we gotta cut out after.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. I'm very happy with all this. Okay, so we're basically at the point now where I gotta clean up some of the wires behind this wall because we're never gonna have access to them again. And then we can kind of screw this all together and start waterproofing it all. So yeah, looking good. So for our gray water, we purchased a 20-gallon tank from Northwest Conversions, which is a van building company located in Washington State. This makes installing a gray tank much easier than creating your own system, as it already comes with brackets that are fitted for the Ford Transit. You need to drill a couple new holes and use a rib nut tool to mount them, but the tank itself fits perfectly on the driver's side next to the gas tank. Okay, everybody.
It's winter time.
Yeah, so anyway, forget about that. We're really behind on this van. We know, we're trying to get out of here. Anyway, the shower pan is in now. For real, the black paint worked out awesome, and we also put another coat, like a really thin coat of just painted on epoxy afterwards. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's shiny, it's mostly even if you don't look too close, but this last coat of epoxy actually covered up a lot of like the weird lumps and stuff that I had going on. Like, you know, this is way smoother than it was before. Yeah, really happy with this. I'm glad we went this route. It definitely took way too long. But in any case, we're gonna push on now. We're gonna get all the walls in here, including this back wall, and start finishing this. Okay, so we're just putting some of this flashing tape into the shower here and all the joints and cracks and just areas where water can get past. Dana's taken over for me because I lost patience with this and she's a lot better at this kind of stuff than me. So yeah, we're gonna get this up on all the seams like I said, and then we're gonna put red guard all over all the walls and all the surfaces, and that'll be the next step. Okay, it's the next day. We're back under the van. Okay, so here underneath the van, we got our gray tank with all of our fittings. I'll talk more about these afterwards. But the drain from the shower, as you can see right there, comes out from the bottom of the van into the waterless P-trap, the HEPCO valve, and then it connects to this flexible tube, sort of like accordion style hose to connect to the tank. Because once you put the tank up, you cannot get access to back here anymore to screw in any more fittings. So you have to do it before the tank goes up, and this is the kind of the best way to do it. But yeah, now the shower is fully plumbed in now, and what I have to do next is start running the line from the sink, which is on the other side of the van, to this port here. Yeah, just give you an idea of what else we got going on the tank. We got this, like I said, this is the fill port from the sink. This is going to be a vent. This is a motorized ball valve, so we can just push a button and it'll dump. And my plan is to run a line from the motorized ball valve to like here-ish or something, and then mount like a dump valve or something like that, so I can connect a hose and actually take it to like a dump site and stuff. So that's what we got going on. This was definitely a pain to get in there, but I hope I never have to do anything like that again, because that sucked. Okay, so sorry for it being loud. That's because of our heater in the van, but I finished running the ABS piping drainage from the sink over to this side, and I also finished mounting up our gray tank dump valve. So it goes from our motorized ball valve to a braided vinyl tube to this thing, what's called the cam lock. And on this other side, I've just created like a DIY drain hose with the male cam lock fitting. So this goes in here like this, and then you press the two tabs to lock it in place. And yeah, that'll be our drain hose. I've tested it, no leaks. This will be good. And this is what we got. And on the back of the van, I have mounted this handy dandy sewer hose holder. This is where we'll store our gray tank hose. And yeah, that about wraps up everything on the underside of the van. Now let's get back inside and finish this shower. Okay everyone, so we are closing in here on this shower. We got all the walls up. These look awesome. We're really happy with this design. We also went ahead and cut some of these sort of like plastic PVC trims, so kind of go around each cubby like that. But yeah, what we're gonna do now is move on to our shower door, and we're gonna be using the popular Nautilus shower door here. It's basically what everybody uses in their vans. It's a super lightweight, self-cleaning, sliding kind of plastic door, and it's just adhesive on to your wall, so it's a super quick install. I'm not going to go into super great detail on the install. You can look at other videos for that. But yeah, we're going to get this mounted, and then we're going to caulk all of the seams, as well as install our toilet paper roll holder, which goes there, and then we'll be done. Okay everyone, so we have finally finished the bathroom. That took way longer than it had any right to. Probably a month and a half, I think, was, start to end, with us, day one being the start of the shower pan and last day being this. But we're done now. We have a full shower ready to go. This is awesome. This looks amazing. Haven't taken our first shower yet, so we're gonna do that soon and let you guys know how that works out. But Lee tested everything is great. Had a little bit of a scare. One little tip that I learned is when you test all your different water lines to make sure there's no leaks, obviously test the cold line and the hot line, but also actually test it with actual hot water. I made the mistake of not doing that, and so once we got everything actually installed in here and ready to go, I turned it on, let it run for a bit with actual hot water, and then I started hearing dreaded dripping sounds from behind this wall. It was awful. I didn't film any of it because I was just freaking out the whole time. Turns out it was just this fitting up here behind here, so I just had to take this out, put a little bit more Teflon tape on it, back in, no leak, with hot water, test it again, and now we're good. So yeah, a little tip, test it with real hot water, because that changes stuff. Things expand and contract, and then you get leaks. So, but in any case, this was the last big thing in the van, was this shower. We're finally done now. You might also see over here on this side, we finished my little office setup. We'll give you guys a more in-depth look at that during our actual tour video. We just kind of built that while we were waiting for things in the shower to like dry and cure, like when we were building the shower pan. Yeah, definitely if I could do this all over again, I would have just hired someone to make the shower pan, because working with fiberglass and epoxy is such a huge pain in the butt, and I wasn't good at it, and it just took a lot of time, way more than we really wanted it to take. So, but in any case, we are here now. We are packing the van. We are actually, with this shower and my office finished, we are now officially done the van. This has been a crazy journey. We started this van build over a year ago, I think Dana counted, and our final amount of days that we spent building this van was 161 days. So, but it took, over a year to make that happen, because for the most part, we were just doing it mostly on weekends and whatnot. But we're finally done. We're finally gonna hit the road. Of course, we're gonna do like a big whole huge tour video sometime down the line, once we've kind of actually gotten going with it and lived in it for a bit, and see if everything that we built actually worked. But in any case, next episode, get ready because we are finally getting back on the road. Time for travel adventures, time for what this channel is actually all about. We're not a van building channel.
We never were.
We are a travel and adventure channel, and that's what we're gonna do with this van. So stick around. Thanks a lot everyone for your support and for watching us build this van over this past year. Like I said, crazy journey. We're super happy, really excited to get it onto the road, and here we go. But with that, guys, we're gonna sign off on this one. Join us next time when we're actually traveling again. My name is Mike.
I'm Dana.
Or Let's Just Go Travel, and we see you guys on the next adventure in our finished van.
Woot woot!